Hello everyone, good evening. I've started session 2 or 3 minutes early, guys. So we'll wait until 6:32 or 6:33, and we'll get started with it. Since it's day one session, I'm expecting few more folks to dial in. And you don't have to record the session at your end. We do record it, and we would be sharing the session recording at the end of the session. Anjanelu. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello everyone, good evening. We'll wait for 1 or 2 more minutes, guys. Just bear with me for first day. Well, let's get started, guys. Hello, everyone. Good evening. First of all, warm welcome to OIC training by Unity. It's a first session for your batch today, and I'll start with my introduction. This is Prasad. I have almost like 20 years of work experience in integration space, almost 7 to 8 years in OIC. In fact, I've been using it from day one Oracle released it. And yes, I looked at the participants list and I had one-on-one conversations with most of you. So I'll skip the introduction part and we'll get started with a session straight away. One important point, guys, I'll be going at a moderate pace. If you think that I'm going too fast or too slow, do let me know. And by default, when you join the training sessions, you will be put on mute by automatically. And we have done it only to avoid the background noise. We have no intention to muffle your voice. At any point in the session, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, ask the question, and then go back on mute. Also, please note that at the end of the session, or towards the end of the session, I would leave out at least a good 5 to 10 minutes only for question and answers. Okay, so if you think a question can wait, please do wait without interrupting the session. Okay, and this is what I have on agenda for today, guys. Before we talk about what exactly Oracle Integration Cloud is and what components do we have in it, we will spend some time to understand why do we need a product like OIC in today's world, and why is it quite famous. So we will understand the why part first, and we look at the integration challenges that exist in today's world. Okay, like if you look at the infrastructure that most of the clients have, it's a kind of a hybrid IT infrastructure that most of the clients do have today, and that poses a whole new set of integration challenges that we have to deal with. So we'll understand why do we need OIC, talk about challenges, and this should not take more than 10 minutes. And what we do for the next 30 minutes is we will take a sample integration use case, like integrating Salesforce with ERP Cloud as an example. And I want to show you how easy it is to build an integration in OIC. I want to show you how easy it is to build an integration in OIC. Okay, so let's get started. Why do we need a product like OIC in first place, guys? So if you look at the IT infrastructure of companies, maybe 5 years back or 10 years back, all the applications that the client has would be on-prem applications. So if I'm a manufacturing client and if I have to install e-business suite and if I have to use it, what is the typical process I would do, guys? I would go to Oracle, buy the required servers, application server, database server, etc. And I would also have to onboard an administration team, Oracle Apps DBA team, and that team would install the application, e-business suite application on the machines or on the servers. And my team is responsible for installing the application, keeping it up to date in terms of security patches, version upgrades, etc. And they should also be responsible for keeping the application up and running 24/7. So if you look at it from a client standpoint, I end up making huge upfront investment for buying those servers and all that stuff. And I also end up spending considerable amount of time, effort, and money managing teams to look after the applications. And that's exactly where cloud computing comes in. So yes, there are plenty of advantages that cloud computing offers today. So if any client wants to migrate some or most of their applications to cloud, it's quite easy. First of all, it's quite cheap, and it's scalable, and there are hundreds of other advantages as well. So we are not here to do a cloud computing session, but because of the obvious advantages that cloud computing offers, most of the clients have started using applications in cloud. So if you take a typical manufacturing client or any client for that matter, IT landscape of companies would look like what you're seeing on picture today. A typical client might be using Salesforce in cloud to manage their customers. They might be using ADP to run a payroll, and they might have implemented Oracle ERP Cloud. They might have probably implemented the finance and SCM modules here, and they might probably be using Oracle e-business suite or JD Edwards for maybe a manufacturing module or other offerings. So what it means is, yes, most of the clients do have hybrid IT landscape today, wherein there are applications which are sitting in cloud, and at the same time, you do have applications on premise. Okay, so what does it mean to you and me, guys, as an integration specialist? So it means that we have to deal with 3 key integration challenges. Like, how do you integrate one Oracle Cloud application, like Oracle HCM with ERP Cloud or HCM with SCM Cloud, etc. That's challenge 1. And integration challenge 2, how do you integrate one Oracle Cloud application with non-Oracle Cloud applications such as Salesforce and ADP? Now you might say, Prasad, why should I integrate them in first place? Well, the reason is there are thousands of clients out there, guys, who use Salesforce as their main CRM system, meaning whenever a client gets a new customer, they would enter it in Salesforce. And obviously, after the customer is entered in Salesforce, a client would want to create an AR invoice in ERP module, in Fusion Cloud application. They want to create an AR invoice here. And of course, we cannot ask the business user on the client side who created a customer in Salesforce. We cannot obviously ask that same business user to log into ERP and create a customer again here. It's definitely something that can be automated easily, right? So there could be not just this use case, there could be plenty of other scenarios. wherein you would have a requirement to integrate applications such as Salesforce or ADP with Oracle Cloud applications. And another integration could be that, yes, a client would have implemented Oracle HCM modules like core HR, absence management, they would have implemented, but not the payroll. And at the month end, yes, when the payroll needs to be executed by ADP, so the same client might be using ADP to run a payroll. So what is it that we have to do? We need to build an integration between Oracle HCM Cloud and ADP. So there would be plenty of such integration challenges that you and me have to deal with. So challenge one, how do you integrate Oracle Cloud with another Oracle Cloud? Challenge two would be how to integrate Oracle Cloud with non-Oracle clouds such as ADP or Salesforce, like HCM with ADP or ERP with Salesforce. And integration challenge three, how do you integrate cloud applications in general, be it non-Oracle or Oracle, with Oracle applications, on-prem applications? So we don't have easy answer for all these questions in the other integration products that are available in the market today, guys. And yes, the way you build integrations using legacy style, it's too complex. Building integrations is complex, maintaining them is also complex. And there's no easy way to move the data from cloud to on-premise and vice versa. There is no easy way to move the data from cloud to on-prem and vice versa. In case of OIC, we do have a concept called connectivity agent, which would help you to easily and effectively manage that data migration. And we do have in the other applications, other integration products that are available in the market today, like MuleSoft or Delbumi, they are good integration products, but they don't have the capabilities to automate a business process. So yes, business process automation with integration is not possible in other products, but it is quite easy in integrations or in OIC. Because in OIC, guys, all of you might be aware that OIC, we have integrations. You can make it out from the name itself, Oracle Integration Cloud. But apart from building wide variety of integrations, we do have two more cloud services called Process Cloud Service and VBCS, Visual Builder Cloud Service. With VBCS, you can build complex and beautiful user interfaces. Any custom web app that your client needs, AR invoice web app or expense report or a travel request application, you can build them in VBCS. And to support those VBCS applications, we can build approval process in VBCS. And the best thing with OICs and what makes it a killer product is that these cloud services can talk to each other. One cloud service can talk to the other two, and it's applicable for all three. And what we do is, before we talk about how OIC solves these challenges, going through these points in the PPT, we would spend half an hour time in OIC instance. We'll try to understand how easy it is to build integrations in OIC, and then we'll come back to this. I hate PPTs. Of course, we do share quite a bit of material with you. The PPTs, the request response payloads, etc. But it is a thoroughly hands-on sessions that we do as part of the course. So we'll, to make you understand how easy it is to build integrations in OIC. So my intention is not to teach you how to build integration on day one. My intention is only to teach you or make you understand how easy it is to build it in OIC. Okay, so we'll take the same use case that we discussed earlier. Let's assume that we're doing an implementation for a client who use Salesforce as their main CRM system. Okay, now what is that client going to do, guys? A business user on that client side would log into Salesforce as soon as they get a new customer. And once they log into Salesforce, they go into Sales Console. And they would be creating a customer account from here. So whenever a client gets a new customer, they would come into this particular screen and they would create a new customer account. And yes, a client would have, whenever they get a new customer, they would enter the details here and they would hit the save button. What's the expectation is? The expectation is that this particular customer, with whatever details a customer is created here, should be created in Fusion ERP Cloud. What's the requirement? The requirement is, yes, a client might be using a Fusion Cloud application from Oracle, Client might be using Fusion Cloud application from Oracle to manage their finance modules. So I'm logging into Fusion Cloud application as a finance implementation user. We'll be giving you access to all of this, guys, as part of the course enrollment. And the moment you log into the application as a finance implementation user, yes, you see a few groups in here. I would just ignore what I'm doing, guys. I will just go ahead and enable or reset the layout. Looks like somebody has taken out optional fields. Sorry, some of the menu options were taken out. What's the requirement, guys? The requirement is as soon as they enter the customer details here, a business user enters the customer details on the Salesforce screen, and they hit the save button. That particular customer details should be passed on to Fusion Cloud application, and he should be created as customer here, so that we can go ahead and create transactions against that customer. So let's say client wants to invoice the customer. So can we go into create transaction screen? Okay, let's go in there. Let's go into create AR invoice screen. Can we create a customer? Can we create an invoice without the customer details, guys? Yes or no, please? Can we create an invoice without the customer? Of course, it's a mandatory field, right? Without the customer details, we cannot create it. Let me just change the instance, guys. Looks like somebody played around with a read-only access and made one of the user read-only. I'll just to avoid the confusion, I'm going to come out of this. Yeah, so it's just the same application. Again, somebody changed the layout as per it. So I'm going to reset it. Well, the use case is pretty simple, straightforward. As soon as a customer is created in Salesforce, we want that customer to be created in Fusion Cloud application. They should be created here. We should be able to see that customer here, so that we can create invoice against that customer. Now, how do we deal with these use cases? You get plenty of such use cases. Today it is Salesforce to ERP. Tomorrow it could be SAP to ServiceNow. So the systems do change, but the approach would on a high level be the same. So how do you achieve such use cases? So whenever you have to deal with such use cases, the first thing that we need to do is, yes, what's the first important step that we have to do, guys? We need to establish connectivity from OIC instance with both the source and the target systems. What's the first step? The first step would be to establish connectivity. So this is a use case, right? Customer created in Salesforce. Same customer should be showing up in ERP Cloud. Two important considerations: no time gap, no manual intervention. So for this use case, you need to ask yourself this particular question: what are the systems that I need to deal with in the integration, or what are the systems that I need to integrate? What are those two systems, guys? Salesforce and ERP Cloud. Now, step number one is to go into OIC instance. Okay, I'm logging into Oracle Integration Cloud instance now. And the moment you log into OIC instance, you would see a home page. And yes, one important point, guys, we would be using Oracle Integration Cloud Gen 3 version. So nobody in the market does a training on Gen 3. Most of them do use Gen 2. So we would be using Gen 3 as part of the training course. Okay, and this is the latest that's available in the market today. And when you click on a menu option here, you would be able to see the navigation options here. So what are the three key cloud services that we have in OIC, guys? We have integration.
Prasad, one question. Sorry to interrupt. So do we need to have two connection here, or one connection from point A to point B? Or we have to have two?
Okay, just let's do it this way, guys. Bear with the questions until 7:30. I'll explain it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Yep.
you're asking about something that I would explain in the next 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we get into the menu option here, and the three cloud services that I spoke about here, like the integrations, PCS and VBCS, you would be able to see those three cloud services here. So the design that you see, the word design, this basically means integrations. And you have Visual Builder Cloud Service here, and you have Process Cloud Service. And apart from these three options, since this user is an administrator, you're able to see settings here. And we do have a screen where you can monitor the integrations that are being triggered. And we do have B2B projects as well. So we'll focus on them in the later sessions. So any integrations that you need to build, you need to get into this design screen and click on integrations. So when you click on design and integrations, so this screen, this is where you're going to build the required integrations for your project. And before you create any integration flow, such as this one, the first thing that you need to do is establish connectivity from OIC instance with, establish connectivity from OIC instance with a source and the target applications. How do we do it, guys? So we need to go into connections tab here, and we need to create a new connection. And the moment you try to create a new connection, you would be prompted to select an adapter here. And one good thing with OIC is you have 100 plus adapters available here. And these adapters would help you to talk to plenty of systems that clients use at an enterprise level. So if you take the case of Salesforce, we have adapters. And if you take the case of SAP, we have adapters. And if you take Oracle, you have 30 plus adapters that would help you to talk to plenty of Oracle applications. Not just Oracle, SAP, or Salesforce, guys, you have adapters that would help you to talk to plenty of applications. In fact, most of the applications that clients use at an enterprise level. So my requirements, so before I go ahead and create the integration flow, we need to create two connections. I need to create a Salesforce connection first and then ERP cloud connection. So what is the first step that I'm going to do? I would pick up a Salesforce adapter and I'm going to create a connection with that adapter. I'm not going to create a Salesforce connection because when you click on create, you need to enter the username, password, and in the password, there is also something called as a token that you need to pass. It's slightly complicated, but just assume that a Salesforce connection is done. And anyways, we will be building this integration use case, guys. This particular integration use case, we will be creating it as part of the course as integration number 13. Okay, so we're not going to build it now. I'm going to just show you how we are going to do it. And we would be building that integration actually as integration number 13. And when we do the build, we would get into the granular details of it. So yes, you would pick up a Salesforce adapter, create a connection first, putting in the details. And once that is done, you're going to create a connection with Oracle ERP Cloud Adapter as well. Because this is where I need to create a connection. Sorry, this is where I need to create the customer. So I go ahead and pick up an adapter, and I'm going to say UG. I'm going to give it a name, and I would use UG63 as your batch identifier, guys. Anything that I'm going to create for your batch, whether it is connection, integration, lookup, or any component, whether it is a VBCS or PCS application, doesn't matter. I'm going to prefix UG63 for it. Okay, and I'm going to call it as ERP demo connection. Yeah, ERP demo connection. And when you create a connection, remember you enter a name, identifier gets generated automatically. And there is something called as a role that you select on a connection. I would need at least 15 to 20 minutes to talk about this role in detail. And first session is definitely not the right time for it. When we build our first integration in OIC, I'm going to spend 15 minutes explaining this in detail. So for now, I'm going to just leave the role as trigger and invoke for the connection, and I'm going to create it. Now, the moment you create a connection, you would see this screen popping up, and OIC is asking you to enter the properties here. Now, since it is an ERP cloud adapter, OIC is prompting me to enter the ERP Cloud instance link here, ERP Cloud host, which is an instance that you want to talk to. So in my case, I need to create a customer in this particular application. So I'm going to copy that instance, put it in here, no/at the end. And I'm going to enter a FinIMPL. I'm going to enter the username and password. And let me get the password, the latest password of the instance, and paste it in here, guys. Don't want to expose it on the session. Sorry, in the session. And you go ahead and test the connection. So depending on the adapter that you pick up, remember I created this connection using Oracle ERP Cloud adapter, and hence it's asking me to enter the ERP Cloud host name. If I would have probably picked up FTP adapter or ERP Cloud adapter, sorry, if I would have picked up, if it is FTP adapter, it would prompt me to enter SFTP host name. If it is a database adapter, it would ask you to enter the database details. So depending on the adapter type, the properties would change, and you would be entering the details with which it needs to connect. You see the connection is tested successfully, and I can go ahead and go back, and I can save the connection. So this way, you need to first establish connectivity with the applications that you need to interact with from your integration. How do you establish that connectivity from OIC instance? By using adapters and creating connections. And once the required connections are created, all you need to do is get into the integration flow, get into the integration screen, and create a new one. So it will take 20 more seconds to save the connection. And as soon as it is saved, yes, we can go into the integrations here. So we've created ERP Cloud connection. Just assume that Salesforce is also done. And what exactly do we need to do after that? We need to get into the integrations, and in the integrations track, and in the integrations, this is where we are going to create the integrations. You have an option to create and import an integration. So import would help you when you want to migrate integrations from one instance to another instance. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. And you would be creating a new integration flow from here. And when you create a new integration, remember there are three styles for you to choose from. So you can create it as an app-driven orchestration, or you can create it as a scheduled orchestration, or you can create it based on an event. So again, we'll focus more on this in tomorrow's session. So what is it that you're going to do? After you create the required connections, you would go ahead and build an integration flow here. And that integration is going to look something like this. And that integration is going to look something like this, like a Salesforce to ERP service. Okay. And in this integration, Salesforce is going to be the trigger, and ERP Cloud is going to be the target system. Now, before I talk about this integration further, when I got this integration use case, guys, I was completely new to Salesforce. I don't even know ABC of it. And I have a fair bit of understanding of how ERP works and what is a customer, but I was completely new to Salesforce. So whenever you get such use cases, guys, not today, once you start working in integration projects, you might also run into plenty of such situations. Like you might be dealing with systems about which you know nothing. Nothing to worry, no need to panic. As an integration specialist, our job is not to master the source and target systems. Okay, so it's because today it is Salesforce to ERP. Tomorrow it could be Salesforce to SAP. Day after tomorrow it could be Salesforce to ServiceNow. Okay, integration specialists need not be the masters of all the applications they deal with. That's not the expectation. The expectation is you build the integration right way. And whenever you have to deal with new systems, usually you get into a couple of hours call with that particular application's technical and functional teams as appropriate. So when I got this use case, I got into a call with a Salesforce technical team, and I told them that, boss, this is my requirement. Because I don't know the capabilities of Salesforce, right? So I asked them one single question. Is there a way I can automate something when this button is hit? because I don't know what Salesforce is, what is possible in Salesforce, right? So I asked them this question. So the Salesforce technical team has given me a good understanding of what is possible in Salesforce. So the next 10 minutes, whatever story I'm going to explain to you, it's the same story that was told to me by a Salesforce technical team. And the reason why I'm stressing on it is, don't expect that or don't think that you would be expected to know all of this as an integration specialist. It's just that you would get that information from the required teams. So what Salesforce technical team told me is, when I explain this use case, yes, we do have an option to automate a business process on the Salesforce side. You can set up a process automation flow. So as soon as you log into Salesforce, you go into process automation. We have an option to create a new flow from here. And when you create a flow, yes, let's take this flow. Yes, you create a process automation flow. And when you create a flow, you can mention how exactly you want that flow to be triggered. So as a trigger, what is it that I'm going to select, guys? Account. So whenever an account is created or updated, whenever a customer account is created or updated on the Salesforce, we want this flow to be triggered automatically. Well and good. And what exactly do you want to do from this process automation flow? So when I asked what are the actions that I can perform from a process automation flow, Salesforce team has shown me these probable actions. Yes, I can send out an email to someone if I want, or I can update a field on the Salesforce business objects. And there is an option to send an outbound message as well. Now, what do you make out from the word outbound message, guys? Meaning it would basically help you to send a message out of Salesforce to other applications. And if you scroll down here, so we would be, and again, all the stuff is shown to me by a Salesforce technical team. So we would be creating an outbound message here. And this outbound message is what we're going to trigger from a process flow. And in the outbound message, what's the capability that you get, guys? Within an outbound message, you can mention which integration needs to be triggered, and you can also mention which customer fields needs to be passed as input. So plain and simple, two configurations that you need to do. So as and when you hit the save button now, this flow would be triggered. And from the flow, we are kicking off an outbound message. And from the outbound message, we are going to trigger the integration built and deployed in this OIC instance. You see this integration, guys? This integration has a URL generated, right? Endpoint URL. So this integration endpoint URL is what you're seeing here, the same integration endpoint URL. So as soon as you hit the Salesforce flow, outbound message, and integration in OIC will be triggered. And another important point is you would be receiving all the customer details as input into the integration from a Salesforce application. And which integration style is appropriate for this integration, guys? Since a Salesforce application is going to trigger the integration, since another application like Salesforce is triggering our integration, we need to use app-driven orchestration style. So when we create this integration, we would be using app-driven orchestration or application style here. And let me go ahead and deactivate this. I just want to show you how it's going to look like. So you would be creating a new integration. And the moment you create a new integration, what would happen, guys? I can change the layout to horizontal, so it looks a bit neat and clean. So this is how the integration is going to look like. First of all, when you create an integration, still in view only mode, I'll just close it and open it again. I'm going to, yeah, that is in configured state. I'm going to edit it. And if you look at this integration, yes, this integration would be triggered by Salesforce. And if you look at this node, guys, So when you create an integration, you would basically see a blank screen. First of all, you don't see any nodes. And you need to click on a plus icon first, and you need to configure the first connection. The first node that you have in an integration, it's called as a trigger node. And the connection that you use as a first node, it's called as a trigger connection because it's going to be the starting point for the integration. It's going to be the triggering point. And I would be using Salesforce connection. Remember, I would be using Salesforce connection as a trigger. And whatever customer details are thrown as input to the integration from a Salesforce, we would be receiving it here, all the customer details. And how exactly am I going to configure this, guys? I just have to click on a plus icon here. I just have to click on a plus icon here, and it would show me the list of connections that are available. And I would pick up a Salesforce connection, and I would configure the node. I would say that, yes, I want to receive customer details from Salesforce and so on. So you would create, you would establish connectivity with the applications first, and then you use those applications within the integration. You use those connections within the integration to build the flows which look like this. And yes, you would create a Salesforce connection as a first node, and you would receive the customer details as input. Now, what is it that we need to do, guys? We need to go ahead and create a customer in ERP Cloud with those customer details that we received here. With those customer details that we received here, we need to create a customer in ERP Cloud. Now, to create a customer in ERP Cloud, I'm not sure how many of you have exposure to a customer data model and the TC architecture, guys. My intention is not to overload you on day one. It's just that whatever are the required web services that we need to invoke to create a customer in ERP Cloud, we would invoke them here. So to create a customer account, we cannot directly create a customer account and a site, guys, in ERP Cloud. Instead, we need to create something called as a party and a party site, for which we need to invoke organization service. And for party site, we need to create a location. So we need to invoke a location service. So what is it that we're going to do, guys? We would, after you configure Salesforce as a trigger, I'm going to use, you see this connection, guys? This connection, this is nothing but the Oracle ERP Cloud connection. So I would be using ERP Cloud connection 3 times. First to create a location, second time to create an organization, and third time to create a customer account. And the moment you invoke a connection, there would be a mapper created, and you go ahead and map the payload. You go ahead and map the payload as well. Okay. So this is exactly how, and how exactly did I add these nodes, guys? And first of all, you might ask me, Prasad, who is going to tell me all this story? Like I need to invoke a location service, first organization service afterwards, and customer account service. So if you don't have exposure to ERP Cloud, you would sit down for a couple of hours with a technical consultant, Fusion technical consultant, and you ask him, boss, what are the services I need to invoke? And you also do some homework on your end. Like you go to support.oracle.com and you search for things like how to create a customer in ERP Cloud using web services. And how exactly would we create this, guys? You just have to click on a plus icon. And we would use the ERP connection. Remember, I'm using the ERP connection that I've created. And what is the first thing that I want to do, guys? I want to create a location in ERP. So I say create location. And with ERP Cloud connection, guys, remember the connections. With adapters, we create connection, and these connections make it easy for us to interact with these applications, guys. It makes it easy for us to interact with these applications. The connections. What do I mean by interact, guys? Meaning if I want to perform CRUD operations in cloud, if I want to create a customer, or if I want to update an invoice, or if I want to delete a purchase order, right? So if I want to perform CRUD operations in Fusion Cloud, I can do so with the help of ERP connection. And how do we do it? We do it by using standard SOAP or REST APIs given by Oracle. So what Oracle did is, remember, this is a cloud product, right, guys? And I'm not sure how many of you know this. We don't even get access to the database of Fusion Cloud application. Remember, this is not an e-business suite application wherein you get connected to the database of the application through Toad, and you do you customize a product left, right, and center. It doesn't work that way. It's a Fusion Cloud application. You don't even get access to a database. So any interactions that you need to do, yes, you would have to use the standard SOAP or REST APIs. And that option you see here. And we do have few other options also to do a bulk data upload as well. So I select the first option and I want to create a location in ERP. I select that, I go to the next screen. And here you would be able to see SOAP services and REST APIs. These are basically two popular types of web services available in the market today, guys. And Oracle has given plenty of services, both standard SOAP and REST APIs to interact with the Fusion Cloud application. And that's exactly what we see here. So I'll pick up services here. And I'm going to search for that particular service. So what is it that I want to do, guys? I want to create a location in ERP with whatever details, with whatever address details are entered here in the billing address. So with that address, I want to create a location in ERP Cloud. So I'm going to select a location service here. I would pick up location service. And the moment I pick up a location service, all the operations that you have in that service would be showing up here. So I'm going to select create location, continue. What is it that I'm asking OIC to do, guys? I'm asking OIC to go into this particular Fusion Cloud application. I'm asking it to go into ETAQ instance, and I'm asking it to create a location here. Now, where did I mention that? It has to go into this particular instance, guys? Because if you remember the connection, when we created the connection, we mentioned the instance details. We mentioned the instance link, we mentioned the username and the password. So OIC will log into that ERP Cloud instance, ETAQ instance with that username and password, and it would try to create a location. Now, the moment I click on finish, OIC will say, okay, boss, I'm going to create a location now, but do let me know with what address details you want the location to be created. Remember, I cannot just create a blank location, right? So the moment you invoke a web service, a mapper would be created automatically in integration flow. And this is what we call as a transformation element. And mapper would be showing as a dotted line like this if mappings are not done. If mappings are done, it would appear like this. So I asked OIC to create a location. It immediately created a mapper. And this mapper would help me to pass on the address details as input to this node. And on the source side, I'll be able to see the address details I received from Salesforce. On the target, I see that there's an option to pass in the address details. So you get into the mapper and plain and simple designer that you have here. So to create a location, you expand it and you see that these are the fields that you have to pass in. And on the target side, you see what are the address details that you can pass as input to location service. And on the source side, you would be able to see the payload you received from Salesforce. So what is it that you have to do, guys? How do you do the mapping? And another important point is the fields on the source system might or might not be with the same names in the target system. So you have billing country here, country here. And how do you map it? You just have to pick it up and drop it on the target. And if you want to map billing street to address to, this is exactly how you do it. And yes, apart from just dragging and dropping a source attribute on the target, there are plenty of other complicated stuff that you can do in this particular screen. And we would be focusing more about it when we go further. We can use complex XSLT functions. You can see the code that gets generated, and you can do a lot more that Murli might be interested in. And we would discuss all of that in the coming sessions. And if you go ahead and validate it, go back, and you would see that the mapper symbol has changed, and you go ahead and save the integration. So this is exactly how, yes, I created you configure a Salesforce connection first. First of all, you create two connections, you create an integration, configure Salesforce connection, and you invoke ERP Cloud connection twice, exactly the same way I've done here, and do the required mappings. So this is exactly how you build integration flows in OIC. Not just the integrations, even the VBCS and PCS components, you build them using the same approach. So what is this approach called, guys? It's called as a configuration-based approach. It's called as a configuration-based approach, meaning you don't manually code anything. It's just that you create the connections, use them in the integrations, and it might not always be about invoking connections. There is a lot of other stuff that you can do. You can use a for each loop, you can use a switch statement, you can use a fault handler, you have scope, and you have hundreds of other things that you can do in the integration flow. But do we manually do any coding in here, any programming, any prerequisite knowledge? Absolutely zero. And if you go back into the PPT now, it all makes sense. So if you that brings us to the slide. So how does OIC solve these challenges, guys? So OIC basically uses a configuration-based approach. Okay, meaning zero code. We just have to use the nodes, configure them, and it's easy to integrate cloud with on-prem applications and vice versa. So we do have a concept called connectivity agents. So if you come out of the integrations you see, there is a concept called connectivity agent, and this agent would help you to integrate with on-prem applications. What exactly on-prem application means, guys? Any application which is running on-premise, any application which is running on-premise, it could be an EBS application, could be a database server, could be an FTP server. So you would have to use a connectivity agent to interact with it. Okay, so yes, in one of the integration, we would be covering this as well, end to end. And we do have an option to automate a business process, and you can make integration work with PCS and VBCS. So all the three components, remember, this is the integration part, right? Integration, VBCS, and PCS, three key cloud services we have in OIC, and each of them can talk to the other two applications. Okay, and we do have a concept called insights or analytics. That's fine. We normally don't do anything in there. And that brings us to what exactly Oracle Integration Cloud is. So what is OIC, guys? It's not a single product. It's in fact 4 services. The fourth one is taken out. We don't have insights anymore. So we only have integrations, process cloud service, and VBCS. So these 3 cloud services offered together as a single unified cloud service called Oracle Integration Cloud. And yes, this would be the focus point for this training course, guys. Before I open up the session for questions, I'll take 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, 3 minutes maybe. Yes, it's a first session for your batch today. And we will be doing 1-hour training session Monday to Friday from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. IST. And the batch goes on for 10 weeks. Okay, so we would need roughly 48 to 51-hour sessions. And what exactly are we going to cover as part of the course? We would be covering 15 complex integration flows. Sorry, we would be building 15 complex integration flows, and we would be covering 5 VBCS and 5 PCS applications for real-time scenarios. And I'm going to do the entire training course. I have almost 20 years of experience in integration space, and all the use cases I'm going to teach you as part of the course are the ones that I've built and delivered for the actual clients. All the sessions would be recorded. A couple of you try to record the session at your end. You don't have to do it, guys. We do record every session and we give you lifetime access to them. So just in case you could not attend a session because of a meeting or any other work commitment, absolutely nothing to worry. Right after the session, I would be uploading the session recording to Google Drive, and we would give you lifetime access to the session recordings. And Prasad, how do we practice? Yes, we do give you instance access. That includes OIC, Fusion Cloud, SFTP server, and a database in cloud. So we give you access to 4 infra services for 3 months time from your batch start date, so that you can practice whatever use cases we're going to cover as part of it. Okay, and yes, the first session is free for anybody to attend. And same is the case tomorrow as well. You can check out tomorrow's session as well. And most of you have already made a fee payment as well. Admin would be sending out onboarding email tomorrow by 11 o'clock in the morning. And if you and as soon as you receive the onboarding email, do click on all the links and check the connectivity, guys, because we're going to get started with a hands-on from tomorrow. Okay, and in case you are interested and if you want to discuss about the enrollment process, do call me on this number, or you can send a WhatsApp message. couple of folks have raised their hands while I was explaining something. I can remember one name. Murli Krishna, what's the question that you have in the mapper? And the other one as well. I'll go to that. Yeah. So you're breaking up. I'm only hearing the first and the last word.
Okay, is it fine now?
Yes, go on.
Yeah. So I was just checking the data structure, which came for the location service, right? So in ERP, all are predefined structures for whatever we need, or is it
we have hundreds of standard SOAP and REST APIs given by Oracle to interact with a Fusion Cloud application. Like you name a business object, you might have a standard SOAP or a REST API. And if you and remember, these web services cannot help you deal with the bulk uploads, right? So we have a separate concept altogether for a bulk uploads. Like we have something called as FPDI, HCM data loader, etc. So we would be covering those automated file uploads as well as part of the course later on in future sessions. But yes, for most of the business objects, we do have standard services given by Oracle, which would help us. Any other questions, guys?
And and one more question. Like normally, because I came from the on-premise application integrations, right? So there we generally create the structures for both inbound and outbound using that XSDs, all those things. So that's
you can when you create a SOAP service in OIC also, you can start off your integration by using an abstract USL file in the trigger connection. But the moment I start using all these technical terms, a few people get confused because they don't even know what is abstract USL and a standard USL. So to give you a simple answer, all of it would be covered as part of the course. And yes, we do have the capabilities to use those XSDs wherever you need in the integration flows as well. Okay, for now.
Okay, fine.
Any other questions
from
anyone?
Yeah, finally, one question. The instance will be given, right? You have told like many complex integrations are there. So basically, you told 4 instances, like for the DB and the FTP and this
OIC
Fusion
and Fusion Cloud.
OIC. 4 instances will be given, but what about the other the complex integrations like Salesforce you have shown?
Salesforce, I can share my instance logins with you, but you try to log into it from your IP address, it would send an OTP to me. And you cannot ping me every time, Prasad, please share the OTP to log into Salesforce application. So with regards to other systems that you need to build those integration use cases, I would show you how to create a new account for yourself. So for that matter, if you can, to create a new Salesforce account, all you need to spend is 2 minutes of your time. And you don't even need a credit card to create a new Salesforce account. And whenever we do such integration use cases, right, I'll teach you how to do it yourself. I'll be there to help you.
So all system integrations we can do by hands-on, by ourselves, right?
Of course, yes. Only the integration use cases you can practice, I would be covering them. Yes. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, Abhinav. Sorry, Abhinav, I cannot hear you. Yeah, any other questions from anyone, guys? I think one more, some other person has raised their hand, right? I'm not sure who it is. Abhinav, I cannot hear you. Probably you can call me on WhatsApp. Vishal, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. It got clarified.
Perfect, yeah. Okay, well, go ahead and yes, we'll meet again same time tomorrow, guys. Use the same meeting link. And in case you have not enrolled in our course yet, and if you want to go ahead, drop me a note in WhatsApp. If you want to play the wait and watch game, yes, you can check out tomorrow's session as well for free. But after tomorrow's session, we'll be enabling a passcode on the meeting. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for dialing in. See you tomorrow, same time, same Zoom link.
Thank you.
Thank you.